is Joanne Kroll, and I am the Sensible Organizer. And today we're going to be talking about kitchen organizing. And I have a special guest, Kristi Santilli of Organized by Christy. And she's going to share some of her tips. So I'm going to bring her in a minute. Just going to put up my comments to see. So I see people are here and make sure we're there. So I'm going to bring her in now. Oh my goodness. Christy? I kicked you from the studio. I'm going to message her right now. See the beauty of live. Can you join again? So I just booted her from the studio. I meant to just take her off the screen and not kick her out. And I kicked her out. So I need her to join again. So hopefully she's going to see that message. She's not, because she doesn't have her phone with her. Uh-oh. So hopefully she's going to realize that she's out and she's going to join again. So we were going to talk all about kitchens, and she's going to give us some tips. And I can't believe I did that. All right. I'm going to call her, so hopefully she can hear it in the other room. And I'm going to mute myself. No, I'm not going to mute myself. My bad. My bad. Just ringing. Did you hear that?
Joanne?
Yes, I booted you out. Can you just put the link back in? Can you just join again?
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, bye. See, the beauty of live video. So she's going to come back in, and then I will add her to the stream. Welcome if you're here live, and if you're on the replay, I'll probably put a note in here that you can skip on through a couple minutes before she gets here. And while we wait for her, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them below. And here she is. Yay. That was my fault. I apologize. Oh my gosh. It's interesting because I don't know why that happened. Whatever I clicked, just booted you out.
That's okay. I'm here.
But you're back, and that worked out well. I'm like, I'm just going to message her. And then I said, oh, she put her phone in the other room.
Yes, I did.
So then I'm like, all right, I'm going to call her. So there we go. So welcome. I'm excited to talk about kitchens today. I know you said that they're your favorite room to organize. They're one of my favorite rooms to organize as well. And so just introduce yourself. Let us know where you're located and anything else you want to share.
All right, great. So, hi, everyone. I'm Kristi Santilli. I'm located in Taunton, Massachusetts. I'm a professional organizer, and my business is Organized by Christy. I started my business almost 4 years ago, and I'm absolutely loving it. I have about 20 years of experience in the corporate world and doing everything from event planning to project management. So my skills definitely lend themselves to this career. And it's so much more rewarding than sitting in an office. And I just love it. I love working with clients and helping them work through their hang-ups as far as getting organized. I primarily focus on residential organizing, and I love working with all kinds of people, but I feel most closely connected to professional moms because I am one.
Same.
So, yep.
Yep.
So I totally get the struggle of running a household, being a mom, working. I get it. I totally get it. I service clients on South Shore, Southeastern Mass, including the Cape and Rhode Island.
Oh, fun. It's interesting how many of us are come from the corporate world and like actual like structured corporate jobs, because it does translate. But yeah, also have to have that piece of you that, has that empathy that can translate and work with people. Yeah. So I say we get right into talking about kitchens. So I would love to hear your tips, because I always learn everything from someone. I always learn something new, which is, even though, because I've been in business for 13 years and, I've done a lot of kitchens, a lot of different things, but somebody always has a different idea.
Yep. So let me start by saying I organize it all, from
Yeah.
attics to basements and every room in between. But I have to say that kitchens are the most satisfying. I enjoy cooking, so
Mm,
it's always fun for me to see what other people have, and what they're using, and um, or if they have something that they've never used, giving them ideas as to how I might use them. So then they're actually utilizing the stuff that they have in their kitchen and not just having it take up precious space.
mhm.
Um, so when I'm working with a client to organize their kitchen, I really take a step back and almost interview them. How are they working in their kitchen? What are they using their kitchen for? Do they do a lot of cooking? Do they do a lot of baking? You really need to think about the flow of the kitchen. Stand at your stove and look around.
Mhm.
What do you need close by so that you can prepare a meal? Oils, spices, knives, oven mitts. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, things like that. And where do you prep your meals? Do you have utensils, mixing bowls, cutting boards, measuring cups? Are all those within easy reach?
Mhm.
Um, and even after the meal, where do you typically bring your food to package up and put it in the fridge if you have leftovers? Wherever that may be, are your food storage containers close by? Are your aluminum foils and saran wraps close by? Um, Really, you want to create a kitchen that is functional, efficient, and requires the least amount of steps and bending to make a meal. I always say that. I'm like, I don't like to bend. So I try to think about, what when I'm working with a client, and sometimes they look at me like, what? But I'm like, no, you don't want to get on your head every time you have to make, spaghetti because your pasta pot is in the
Yeah.
least accessible cabinet.
My thing is because I'm short, I
Oh,
don't
oh,
have enough
right.
reach, right? So
I apologize. So I was telling Joanne earlier, we have a puppy and she's in my office with me and she's barking because all of a sudden there's a lot of neighbors walking around. Usually no one's out, but
Yep.
so if you hear any barking in the background, that's what it is. And to your point, I need to always be cognizant because I'm tall.
Yes.
When I'm helping someone organize, I always have to say, can you reach that? Because I can
Mhm.
reach it, but can you
Right.
reach it?
Yeah.
Um, so, and then when looking at your cabinet and your storage space, I always like to think of it, and I'm sure, this is industry wide. Oh God, now there's a dog and a
It's
little boy.
okay. People love dogs.
Um,
They love hearing the dogs in the
yeah.
background.
Um, think of your space as prime real estate. So anything that you need closest to you, to bake or to make a meal, and then secondary storage. Those are the cabinets that are hard to reach,
Mhm.
such as above the fridge. So those are the places where you want to store things that you rarely use. The once a year party platters.
Mhm.
Um, Sorry, I'm looking at my notes to
That's
try to
okay.
make sure I don't forget
Yeah.
anything. So yeah, so that's about it. Like just think of your space as prime real estate and almost cold storage, and
Mhm.
make sure that what you need access to immediately is in your prime real estate.
Yeah. Yeah, I personally have a tiny kitchen. So that was always my kind of expertise, how to maximize every little space and whatnot. And I would go into these big, beautiful kitchens and I would say to
Yeah,
them, like, you can leave that cabinet empty. You don't have to put something up there. And people would just step back and go, oh, no, I can't. I'm like, yeah, you can. It's
yeah,
okay. Because a lot of kitchens are designed um, without any function in place. It's just like, oh, we can fit cabinets here. Let's put as many cabinets as we can possibly put in this kitchen and as many drawers. Doesn't matter what they're for. Let's just put them in and make them lay out. Now, there are some kitchen designers who actually will think about all of that, but a
yep,
lot of older homes were not, like, especially the homes like in the 80s. those kitchens they're massive, and people have them filled, and I'm like, you don't have to fill it. You don't have to fill it. You need to just have what you need, and don't worry about it. And then I would say, like, if it really bothers you, put one bowl in that cabinet, just so
Yes.
you can see something there, but not, don't try to fill the entire space. We have people here. I'm just going to acknowledge them because I can actually see everybody, which is awesome. So we have Nazim from Italy. Yay.
Oh.
Welcome, Nazim. Charles, Andrews, Amy. How do you say your name, Amy? And you can't tell me, but I'm saying it's Aram. And then your husband, I'm assuming, Dave.
Oh.
Yeah, he's
Awesome.
so funny.
My biggest supporter.
Pop that up so you can see your little happy face and your son.
Yeah, so, and there's Annie, the one that's barking.
She's so cute. So yeah, now do you recommend like any, what do you call it? I'm going to put the title of as we're talking about this too, because it's always good to have that up there. Do you recommend any products to buy? Any like what are your favorite tools that you use to organize things?
Well, I always like to say, you don't need to spend a fortune to get organized. Mm-hmm. There are lots of stores. Yes, the Container Store is wonderful, and I love the Container Store, but not everyone can, that's not always within your budget. Mm-hmm. I have found products at the dollar store that I use in my pantry, but so, don't shy away from getting organized because you think it's just the products are going to be too expensive. Mm-hmm. One thing that I highly recommend are clear bins to contain things such as, granola bars and potato, snack size potato chip bags, any snacks or, category protein bars. If you have them, first of all, take them out of their box that they come in, put them in a clear bin, because notoriously, if you have children or if you have,
husbands,
is Dave still on there? They will notoriously take the last thing in that box and leave the box in there. And then you don't know what you need to replenish or not at the grocery store. And that leads to overbuying, and it leads to, things going bad and then having to toss them. So I highly recommend clear bins, and everything I recommend, I actually have in my own kitchen. So clear bins. It allows kids to be somewhat autonomous. They can get their own snacks. It helps you because they can get their own snacks. You can even go as far as putting little stickers on each of the bins, green, yellow, and red. Red being bad snack, green meaning healthy snack. Applesauces would be green. Doritos would probably be red. Nothing against Doritos, but if you're trying to help your kids make healthy choices, that's one way of doing it without, too much thought. And then, like I said, if you have things in a clear bin, you can quickly eyeball them when it's time to go to the grocery store and determine what you need to replenish.
Right.
And
I used, when I had a above the fridge freezer, I used to use clear bins in my freezer for a lot of like the vegetables and things like that. Now I have a side-by-side, which it's far more segmented, so it's a lot easier to organize. I still have some of those bins in there for like the open bags. Because those tend to get lost, but the other stuff stacks nicely. But once something's opened, it doesn't fit nicely in there. So we do that. And then I used to do the clear bins for a lot of those snacks that you have, but one of my daughter's geniusly, is that a word? Said, why don't we use the drawers? These drawers that we have like Tupperware and stuff in for snacks. I'm like, oh yeah. So that's been our system for that. But yeah, I love that. And it's funny because a lot of people will say like, what's your favorite, way to do a kitchen? And I'm like, I need to see your kitchen. I need to see what you're working with, how how much space you have, what, we have. So like, it is the basic tips of, making sure that you have like your spices close to you, but at the same time, you don't want them right by your oven where they're going to get hot. So it's like finding that spot and putting your plates, look at, all right, I'm unloading my dishwasher. What's the easiest way for me to put my plates away and put my glasses away?
Yeah.
And those should be the cabinets that you're using.
Right.
I love wire risers for plates.
Yes.
So you're not stacking plates, 10 high, you're dividing them by a riser. Same with, cups and mugs. And then I also love those step risers for cans.
Yep.
We
I've
have,
used those a lot.
because we have small cabinets, a small kitchen, we have a big double jelly cabinet that I use as my pantry. And I always have my cans stacked on one of those. And then one of my daughters stole it for our spices. So I'm like, now I need to get a new one, because since that's been gone, the cans are not in any order. They're just in there, and you can stack them as neatly as you can, but it doesn't work. We have a question here from Nazim. Voice assistant devices. Oh, for organizing shopping lists. I'm trying to convince your wife on this approach, but she loves her chalkboard. I hate to tell you, Nazim, but I love my chalkboard too. We don't have a chalkboard. We have a whiteboard.
Oh, so
I do like that idea of being able to put it into like an Alexa, remind me what I need.
I don't use Alexa, probably because she started talking to my son and I when we didn't ask, she wasn't on. So she went back to Amazon. But anyway, one thing that my husband and I use, and it's really worked out well, is there's an app called Wunderlist.
Yes.
Yep. And that is a free app that you can do your to-do list or, capture ideas. So I have a list called groceries, and, I'm able to, either my husband or I are able to quickly go in and say, okay, I just ran out of eggs, so put eggs on the list. Then if he's driving by the grocery store or I'm driving by the grocery store, one of us can go in. And that helps with, a lot of times it's the woman of the house that's doing the grocery shopping. Now you can you can get help from your significant other because they have the list right there. And my son is 8, and he's even conditioned to say, put it on the list. I just ran out, so that's a really good tool that has helped us.
Yeah. And it's funny because I've tried that. And Nazim, it's Wonder, like WUNDRLIST, right?
Yep.
I think that's, I'll put the link in afterwards. But I love that concept. And I think that's awesome. And I tried it and it didn't work for me.
Really?
So I'm like Nazim's wife. I need it just written down. And then I walk up to that board and I take a photo before.
Oh, that's a good idea. See, I always found...
and that is because I am pretty much the one doing the shopping. So it's not like I need to coordinate, it's like if I'm home and I need my husband to pick up something, I just have to let him know. It's not like he's going to just say, oh, I'm by the grocery store, I'm going to stop and get something. And I wouldn't expect him to anyways.
Yeah.
In traffic. But yeah, so and I love that. And I know a lot of people who do use Wunderlist or something very similar, and it works great for them. So it's just knowing yourself. So, I mean, I always just tell people, try it. If it works, awesome. And if it doesn't, no worries. Let's figure out something else. And talking about the Alexa, I shut mine off as well because it started doing something really weird. I forget what it was doing, but I'm thinking about it now, like putting it in the kitchen would be kind of interesting because I'm wondering if there's something you can do. Like if you could have it set up, not necessarily you, but if somebody wanted to have that set up and have it go to like a Wunderlist, add that to my list on Wunderlist.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a rule that you can set up to do that, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I started doing, and I did it in my own kitchen and I absolutely love it, is putting all of your spices in a drawer.
Mm-hmm.
If you have the space, a lot of people I have worked with, they have multiple junk drawers. So eliminate one and put your spices in that drawer. I did the whole, I got the pretty little containers and did my own little labels and had a cute little shelf, and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
Things were constantly falling behind. So
Yeah.
I put all the spices in the drawer in their original containers. You can have all the labels facing up, and it's so quick and easy to see what you have for spices. Grab it, use it, put it back.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And see, like that, I love that idea. And I've done that for people. Doesn't work in my kitchen because I don't have a drawer nearby. So, it's like, if you
yeah,
have that drawer, it's awesome. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And that's the thing I love to tell people. And that's why people hire us, because we can sit here and talk about this. And there are going to be people who are going to be able to go, oh, great, I'm going to go try this, do this. But then there's going to be other people who are going to, but I don't have that. So that's when someone like us can come in and go, okay, this is what you have. So this is how
exactly.
you can apply kind of the same principles as best we can, because you're usually just working with what you have, trying to fit.
Exactly.
But if you're building a home and
Right. Not everyone has
someone's
that
designing
luxury.
your kitchen, you want to make sure that either they are a pro at understanding how the kitchen should flow, or you want to hire a professional organizer and have them review those kitchen plans and understand, all of that. And it's the same with like, closet people. I have a lot of people who like had these closets built, whatever, at one point, and they're beautiful and I love them. Or I bought this house because it had this beautiful organizing system and it doesn't work for me.
No.
And I'm like, well, that's because maybe they didn't know what you had. Nobody took the time to understand that. And that's okay. We can still work with that. Now we have to like modify and do different,
Exactly. Yep.
use different things for different places. But yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And I'll add, one of my other favorite things is is an over the door shoe hanger. So if you have a pantry and you have like a door on a pantry, or even sometimes a cabinet, if you can fit it and you can cut one down, but those are great for putting small when in.
Okay.
I use them on the back
Good
of
idea.
doors for everything, but they can be used for kitchens too.
Yep.
They can be helpful. They're
Absolutely.
inexpensive, and when they get beat up in grocery, you just replace it. They're really inexpensive to do. So yeah.
Yep. Another cool idea is I found that, and probably my own home included, people have way too many water bottles.
Mm-hmm.
And they love their water bottles.
Mm-hmm.
But I found that if you can take an empty file holder and turn it on its side, you can lay the water bottles on top of each other.
Do you mean like a magazine holder or a?
Yes.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
just going to pull one down, but it's going to be too heavy. But
I
yeah.
know.
Yeah. I
You
see
can
what you're
fit
saying.
at
You almost make like a, yeah.
You can fit at least 3 in each file holder. I've had to be a little ruthless with certain clients and just say, you just have too many water bottles. And I always go back to let the space define how much you can own.
Yes.
So if you only have a limited number of cabinets, you can't have a voluminous amount of anything.
Right.
Or, if you just can't part with those water bottles, put some aside in another area of your kitchen or pantry, and then use them to replace the current ones, as they get nasty, rather than go out and just buy new ones.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we tend to gravitate towards the same things that we use all the time. I mean, we constantly do that because my husband, just the nature of what he does, he gets stuff from people all the time.
Yep.
And it's like we have jackets and water bottles and mugs and in coolers and all these different things. And I'm like, you just can't keep them all. And that's always my tip for companies. Really think about what you're putting out there for swag for people, because people like, oh yeah, this is great, everyone wants a cooler. I'm like, yeah, everyone wants a cooler until that person's been getting coolers from 100 different
Exactly.
people. So yeah, it's interesting.
We have a half an hour, right?
Oh, as long as you want, but yeah, usually a half hour is a good amount of time. But
okay. One other thing I want to mention is don't neglect the refrigerator. You can label things in the fridge. You can use those clear bins in the fridge to corral things like yogurts, puddings, cheese sticks, those things that tend to fall and then you can't find them.
Yep.
And one thing that I recently did that has been huge is designate a section of your fridge, a shelf if you can, or just a small area for leftovers. That way the leftovers are all going into the same spot.
Hmm.
Then you can actually see what you have if you need to make a quick meal or you're running out of time.
Right.
And it also allows you to use what you have and use it up before it goes bad.
Right.
So that's been a big thing in our house, is just to corral all those leftovers in the same spot. And
Yeah.
it's really helped, because it's a visual too. The other night I was stuck and I was like, oh, what am I going to make for dinner? And I opened up the fridge and there was a few leftovers. So we just had a random hodgepodge, but whatever.
Yeah.
We got fed.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I'm pretty good about that, as far as, it's the night before trash day is the day I clean my fridge.
oh, that's a good
And
idea.
then I know that nothing's going to be sitting in the trash if there's too much. I'm trying to minimize that amount of trash. But, and then I just completely lost the thought on that. I had something else about that as far as going through, but, and just keeping the fridge zoned, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Trying to put things back in the same space. It doesn't always work, but, you just do the best you can. I mean, especially when you have other people living with you, it's hard to keep things well. One of my daughters had her own shelf for a very long time, and it was labeled. and then everybody just kept throwing stuff on her shelf, and she's just like, I give up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I, going back to empty cabinets and how some clients just feel the need to fill it up.
Mm-hmm.
I always say, your family is going to change. Your habits are going to change. You're going to change the way you eat. Your snacks are going to be different. So it's okay to have extra space that you can, either move into or, change around. So yeah,
Right.
you don't, just because you have a cabinet, you don't have to fill it.
Yeah. I mean, I think just as humans, we look to fill every space that we have. And it's a hard habit to break, but it's when you're able to break it, it feels so much better and lighter when there's just less stuff everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna share. Well, first I'm gonna share your website right here in the chat. But the I have a challenge that is like the first 7 days of a program that I run. If I can get to it, I'll put it in the put it in the comments after. But if you I couldn't remember if you told me if you had anything else specific to share other than just your site, your website and where you're located and who you help. But if you had like any offer out there, you feel free to share that as well.
Okay. No, really, it's just my website, my Instagram, which is organized _ Christy, and it's Kristi.
Yeah.
That's because I'm somewhat technically challenged, and I set myself up as Organized by Christy on Instagram, and then did something and wasn't able to access it. So that name is now gone, or used by me.
Really?
I can't figure out how to.
Oh, I might be able to help you with that.
I'm sure you can.
Yeah, I know. It's always interesting. I rebranded. I mean, I still use obviously the Sensible Organizer, but my site is just joannecrawlnow.com, and my old site forwards to there. And because I'm everywhere on the socials, I just use my name because it's awesome to get. And even obviously my business name is too, because I've had it for so long.
Right.
I'm the only one. Hopefully, there should be the only one. But yeah. It's just shorter to use my name. But my Facebook page is the sensible organizer.
Yeah.
That's the way you had to set it up back, 10 years ago on Facebook. And it was like, all right, but it's really not that big of a deal. People can find you,
Yeah.
So awesome. Well, this was fun. I'll go back and see if I missed any comments, and you can obviously do the same when you do the thing and see. And, but yeah, what did I say I was going to share? I shared your site. I was going to share my challenge in the comments, but I shared that site in the comments, so that people will have it and they can find you. Because, like I said, people ask about this. I Christy's a person that I often refer in-person clients to because I rarely take an in-person client anymore. I work virtually, and I don't usually work. I work residentially in the sense that I work with business owners who work from home, so I'm helping them with their home and their business. But yeah,
Yeah.
so anybody local is interested, check it out.
Yes. If you
So
want to get that kitchen in order, I'm the girl.
I know, I know. I'm like, now I have the urge to go and like kind of look at my kitchen. Sometimes I look for things to organize, and I'm like, I don't have anything.
I
So
know. Yeah. My husband will often come home and be like, "How come? Where are the mugs? You moved the mugs." I'm like,
yeah,
"Yeah, it just works better over here."
yeah, changing things up.
Yeah.
Funny. All right. Well, thank you, and we'll chat soon.
All right. Thanks,
Okay.
Joanne.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. And